just killed a man. Put a gun against his head. Pulled my trigger, now he's dead. Goodbye, everybody. I've got to go. Gotta leave you all behind and face the truth. Mama, oh, I don't wanna die. I sometimes wish I'd never been born at all. I see a little silhouette of a man. Scaramouche, when you do the fun, done go. Thunderbolt and lightning, very, very frightening me. Galileo, Magnifico. I'm just a poor boy, nobody loves me.
He's just a poor boy from a poor family, sparing his life from his monstrosity.
Easy come, easy go, will you let me go? Build a wall, no, we will not let you go. Build a wall, we will not let you go. Build a wall, we will not let you go. Let me go, we'll not let you go. Let me go, we'll not let you go. Let me go. No. Mamma mia, let me go. Beelzebub, as the devil would have stood for me, for me, for me. So you think you can stone me and save my life? So you think you can love me and leave me to die? Oh, baby, can't do this to me, baby. Just gotta get out, just gotta get right out of here.
What's going on, everybody? Welcome into CobraCast 199. I am your host, Jeremy Prime, Mage IDOT of the 199. Early stream today, but it's the only time I can work it in because we have so much going on throughout the day, and we have Mario Kart tonight. So I figured I would do a little bit earlier stream instead of trying to do that like quick kind of 45 minutes or an hour right before Mario Kart. I'd go ahead and start it now. Way too much going on, and there's a lot to talk about. So hope you're all doing well on this Wednesday, and I hope you're going to join us for Mario Kart tonight. It's going to be a lot of fun. But look, man, we got a lot to talk about, and we're going to get started on it right here off rip, because Michelle Obama, Big Mike, is in the news, ladies and gentlemen. What do you think about this one right here? Let's listen to what Big Mike has to say on Big Mike's podcast. Here we go.
I wanted to talk, Marlon, a bit about just so proud of how you are being a role model for dealing with a child that's transgender.
Absolutely.
And that's, that warms my heart, particularly as a Black man. Would you care to share that journey of?
Well, I learned.
Oh, this is so funny. But I have to break the illusion that while it is funny and it's a great meme, Big Mike is not talking about Big Mike. Big Mike is talking about Marlon Wayans. And that's the way I interpret it. But damn, it's funny. It's like if you listen to it completely out of context, though, it's bad. One more time.
I wanted to talk, Marlon, a bit about, just so proud of how you are being a role model for dealing with a child that's transgender.
Absolutely.
And that's, that warms my heart, particularly as a Black man. Would you?
It sounds so bad. It sounds so bad. But I do believe that Big Mike is referring to Marlon Wayans, but it's so funny. Oh, God, that's going crazy on the internet right now. It's going crazy. Woo! Good stuff indeed. And look, we have a lot. There's a lot to cover today. You had a Trump interview on ABC News, and Trump had a ton of clips from that one that we're going to go over. We also had a cabinet meeting today. I'm sure there's some clips there that we'll get into as well. But, man, that is funny as hell. As a matter of fact, I do want to show some of the clips from the ABC interview last night because it really is funny, man. I mean, these are some really funny clips that we have from Trump. I mean, he just doesn't care, man. He will call these fools out to their face right here. Listen to this.
Do you think the reputation of the United States has gone down under your presidency?
No, I think it's gone way up, and I think we're a respected country again. We were laughed at all over the world. We had a president that couldn't walk up a flight of stairs, couldn't walk down a flight of stairs, couldn't walk across the stage without falling. We had a president that was grossly incompetent. You knew it, I knew it, and everybody knew it, but you guys didn't want to write it because you're fake news.
All right. Thank you.
And by the way, ABC is one of the worst. I have to be honest with you.
And by the way, ABC is one of the worst. I have to be honest with you. Holy crap, dude. Just like right there. Like he just does not back off at all. He doesn't care. It's so damn funny. We've got this clip right here talking about DOGE and Elon Musk. Here we go.
Elon Musk and DOGE. Everyone knows that there's wasteful government spending. It's really important. But the cuts have had some serious consequences. There have been cuts to foreign aid programs that save lives and keep people alive overseas. There's been research at the National Institutes of Health on cancer, on Alzheimer's, that has had to be stopped. And the question I think people have is, did DOGE go too far, too fast, too reckless?
No, I think DOGE has been, saved $150 billion. We saved, that's a lot of money. There's also a lot of things right now under investigation, which is going to increase that amount by a lot. That's a tremendous amount of money. There are some things where, when I heard about them, I put them back, as you know. There are things that I'm considering right now putting back, but overall, we've saved hundreds of billions of dollars.
Well, the original promise was $2 trillion, went to $1 trillion, now it's $150 billion, and heading south.
You don't know what it's going to be because we have things that are at a very high level that are being looked at right now. We also found tremendous waste, fraud, and abuse, as you know. We found a lot of fraud. There was a lot of fraud. Fraudulent things were taking place, and we ended that, and those people are going to be suffering because of it.
A legal note, fraud is a crime. There have been no referrals to the Justice Department on any.
Well, you don't know that, do you? How do you know that?
Have there been referrals to the, are there criminal referrals?
How would you know that there were no referrals? I think there were referrals.
They generally, all right, there's been no investigation from the Justice Department. How do you know that? I'm asking you, sir.
No, you're not asking me. You made a statement. You're not
now I'm asking you.
That was a statement that you made. There had
I'm
been.
asking you.
Have there been? Yes, there have.
So there have been referrals for fraud from the
Of
work
course
of
there have
DOGE.
been. Take a look at some of these
All right,
things that
all
took
right,
place.
all right.
Billions of dollars were given to people for no reason whatsoever.
I freaking love Trump, man. It's so good. Then we got this clip right here talking about Russia.
The fighting. Don't
You
forget,
think he wants
this
peace?
is a-
You think Vladimir Putin wants peace?
I think he does, yes. I think he
Still.
does. I think
Even
because
with the
of
raining missiles
I
on?
think he really, his dream was to take over the whole country. I think because of me, he's not going to do that.
Do you trust
I
him?
think-
Do you trust him?
I don't trust you. I don't trust a lot of people. I don't trust you. Look at you. You come in all shooting for bear. You're so happy to do the interview.
I am
And then
happy.
you start hitting me with fake questions. You start telling me that a guy whose hand is covered
All
with
right,
a
we're back to
tattoo doesn't have the tattoo, you know.
all right.
I mean, you're being dishonest.
No, I'm not.
Let me
No, I
just
am not,
say, I don't trust a lot of people. But I do think this. I think that let's say he respects me. And I believe because of me, he's not going to take over the whole. But his decision, his choice would be to take over all of Ukraine.
Okay.
It's a war that never should have happened.
I don't trust you. Now, there was an interesting thing that came out of this, and that had to do with, he mentioned it right there, but the tattoo. So let me find this clip right here. Okay, so good old Ian from Timcast had this to say. Trump owes this reporter a public apology. The guy didn't have MS-13 tattooed on his knuckles. He had 4 shapes on his knuckles that could be interpreted as representing MS-13. I responded to Ian and I said, Trump owes this reporter a public apology. Fuck off and fuck the media. And I ratioed the hell out of him. So let's listen to this clip. Now, in this clip, this, I think Trump probably misspoke for sure, but he absolutely does not owe the media an apology. But I do think that Trump slightly misspoke on the topic. I guess before we do that, this is the picture that is being referenced right here. This is the picture. Now, the MS-13, that is something that was placed on this picture so that it could help identify what these symbols mean. The MS-13 is not word or letters and numbers are not tattooed on this guy's hand, but the symbols are there, and they're saying that the symbols represent MS-13. That's why the MS-13 is there. Okay. Now, Trump misspeaks a little bit for sure. Let's listen to what is said right here.
He wasn't a member of a gang. And then they looked, and on his knuckles, he had MS-13.
There's a dispute.
Well, wait a minute. He had MS-13 on his knuckles tattooed.
Oh, he had some tattoos that are interpreted that way. But let's move on.
Wait a minute. Hey, Terry.
He did not have the
do that.
letter MS-13.
It says MS-13.
That was Photoshopped. So let me
That
just.
was Photoshop. Terry, you can't do that. Hey, they're giving you the big break of a lifetime. You know, you're doing the interview. I picked you because, frankly, I never heard of you, but that's okay. But I picked you. Terry,
I picked you because, quite frankly, I never heard of you.
hey, but you're not being very nice. He had MS-13 tattooed.
We'll agree to disagree. I want to move on to something else.
Terry, do you want me to show you the picture?
I saw the picture. We'll
And you think it
agree
was
to disagree.
Photoshop? Well,
Here we go.
Don't Photoshop it. Go look at his hand. He
Fair
had
enough.
MS-13.
He did have tattoos that can be interpreted that way. I'm not an expert on them. I want to turn to Ukraine,
No,
sir.
Terry,
I want to get to
Terry,
Ukraine.
No. He had MS as clear as you can be, not interpreted. This is why
All right.
people no longer believe
Well,
the news, because
when
it's
he was
fake
photographed
news.
in El Salvador, they aren't there. But let's just go on. They aren't there when he's in El Salvador.
They
Take
weren't
a look
there,
at the
but they're
photograph.
there now, right?
No,
But they're there
in your
now.
picture.
Terry,
Ukraine, sir.
he's got MS-13 on his knuckles,
All right.
okay?
Well, we'll take a look.
It's you do
We'll take a
such a
look.
disservice.
We'll take a look at
Why
that,
don't you
sir.
just say, yes, he does, and, go on to something
It's
else?
contested.
It was
Now, what's interesting, and again, I just learned about this last, like the more the details. Obviously, we saw the picture that Trump tweeted out, And so after this, I started looking into it further, and I'm going to assume that these are real pictures. Again, it is the internet, so it's hard to tell what's real and what's not real. But right here, this is a picture with him and his wife, and his wife always puts the hearts over his hand in the pictures. And this is like multiple pictures. She always put hearts over his hand to not show these tattoos that apparently aren't problematic according to the mainstream media. Every single picture that, at least multiple pictures that I've seen from her, she photoshopped hearts over the hand. Why? I'm assuming because she knows. But this reporter, and I think Trump is speaking more directly about the tattoo to say, like, this tattoo is MS-13. It's on his hand in the symbolic nature. And of course, the media is trying to twist that, manipulate that. And of course, I like how they always want to give illegal immigrants the benefit of the doubt. Oh, they deserve the benefit of the doubt. No, they don't. No, they don't. They're illegal. They don't deserve the benefit of the doubt. So she's covering the bruises on the knuckles from him beating her. Yeah, I saw a bunch of memes going around about that too, which was really funny. But yeah, this ABC interview was kind of a disaster. It was kind of a disaster. It really was. Oh my gosh, the Bill Belichick thing. We're going to talk about that probably here. I'll bookmark that right now. Trump was also, let's see if I can find it. There was another clip that I thought I bookmarked, but I can't find it. It's talking about illegal immigration. This is well, I don't know where that one's at, but this is a good one right here. Talking about Biden. Here we go.
Do you think the reputation of the United States?
Oh yeah, we got that one. We played that one earlier. There's another clip where he's talking about, if I'm not mistaken, they're talking about how illegal immigrants deserve due process. No, they don't. Did they have due process when they came into the country? No, they don't. They don't deserve due process. If you're illegally in the country, you don't deserve due process. I can't believe that the left is constantly trying to take up for illegal immigrants. They're illegal. They're breaking the law. They're illegally here. Due process is for citizens of the United States, not people that are illegally here. And I think Joe Rogan even made a comment about that as well. Let me see if I can find it. Where he, is this it? This might be it right here.
Joe Rogan said this. Joe Rogan, one of the leading podcasters, Trump supporter, about the deportation of.
I like how suddenly the mainstream media cares about what Joe Rogan thinks now. Suddenly. The mainstream media suddenly cares about what Joe Rogan thinks, by the way. Let me back this up again now.
Joe Rogan said this. Joe Rogan, one of the leading podcasters, Trump supporter, about the deportation of Venezuelans. He said, quote, rounding up gang members and shipping them to El Salvador with no due process, he said it was dangerous, and added, quote, we got to be careful that we don't become monsters while we're fighting monsters. Is Joe Rogan right?
Oh, I agree with that 100%. Yeah, we want to be careful, and we are careful. We're doing something that has to be done. We have a country that's very sick. Joe Biden, and it's not him because I don't even think he knew what the hell was happening, but the people around him are vicious people, and what they've done to the country is unbelievable. They've allowed 21 million people to pour into our country. Many of these people are criminals. They've allowed you mentioned Venezuela, the jails of Venezuela to be emptied into the United States. Do you know Venezuela crime is way down? Way, way down. You know why? Because their criminals are now living happily in the United States of America, and we're getting them out. And I was elected to get them out, and we're getting them
under
out,
the law.
and we're getting them out fast, and we're getting them out legally. Now, in some cases, we have judges. In some cases, they're radical left judges. What happened the other day where a judge was protecting a criminal was horrible.
And on that note, we have this right here. Let me find this clip. that I bookmarked because we had more breaking news today. Where is it at? Right here. Here we go.
Another judicial pushback against President Trump's immigration crackdown. This comes after dozens were arrested in January during Border Patrol's Operation Return to Sender, where agents rounded up people determined to have entered the who were determined to have entered the country illegally. Yesterday, California District Judge Jennifer Thurston demanded CBP agents cannot arrest suspected illegal migrants without a warrant or reason to believe the person is a flight risk before they can get one. All right, another judicial pushback against President Trump's.
It's absolutely crazy, man. It's absolutely insane. But it shouldn't be surprising at all. But it is absolutely wild that we continue to find ourselves in this situation. But I do think that, as I said back in 2024, that I know things seem bleak and things were frustrating, but I do believe that ultimately the good will prevail overall. And I firmly believe that. So we're just going to have to, continue to stay the course and, let this all play out properly. But Trump's done a fantastic job in his first 100 days. Obviously, like I said, I've got some criticisms, and I think there's valid criticisms. But overall, you've got to look at, what we're dealing with here, and look at what Pete Hegseth tweeted out. And in case you wonder what we and President Trump are up against, 100% negative coverage from the so-called mainstream press in the first 100 days. Perfect score. Come on, RFK and Elon Musk. You guys can do better. This is what you're dealing with right here. You're not dealing with truth and honesty from the mainstream media. It's constant lies on top of lies on top of lies. And you have a lot of mentally weak people that just buy into these lies. And I truly don't understand a person that sits around all day long and just cries about Donald Trump. I really don't understand that at all. But at the same time, I'm appreciative of it because it gives a lot of good content. It gives me a lot of good content. It gives you guys a lot of good content to watch. So I am appreciative of it from that perspective, 1,000%. Let me see. Let me get a couple of these super chats really quickly. Let's see. Van becomes a new member. Thank you. Lying Dogface Pony Soldier with a Get That membership. Maximus BT says, where my breets at? Vault 95 says, Cobra lunch? Hell yeah. Hell yeah. Celluloid Dream with a 199 super sticker. What's up, Celluloid Dream? Good to see you here, Celluloid Dream. I'll probably see a much different audience in this earlier time slot than I normally do in the evening. So for those of you that I haven't seen in a while or that haven't been on a live stream in a while, good to see all of you. Hope you enjoy the show. Elon Musk, Elon was there today in the cabinet meeting, and he was rocking a badass Gulf of America hat right here. Check it out. Look at Elon. Look at Elon. Elon Musk is such a character, dude. I freaking love Elon so much. Devin for 20 says, glad to have an early show to help make it through the workday. Will you be covering the situation between angry cops and the Buffalo School District? Either way, hail the chat and rock on. I still have to look into that. I've been so busy with all this other stuff that I'm covering. My last CobraCast on Monday, people wanted me to check that out on the Unsubscribed podcast, so I am going to check it out. I have not looked into it at all yet, but I have been told about it multiple times, and I will. So thank you so much, and I'm glad I can help the workday go by a little bit quicker. Let's listen to this Elon stuff real quick.
I love the double hat, but he's the only one that can do that.
Yeah.
Get away with it.
Well, Mr. President, they say I wear a lot of hats. That's true. Even my hat has a hat. The American people voted for secure borders, safe cities, and sensible spending. And that's what they've gotten. A tremendous amount has been accomplished in the first 100 days. As everyone has said, it's more than has been accomplished in any administration before, ever, period. So this portends very well for what will happen for the rest of the administration. I think this could be the greatest administration since the founding of the country.
Well, we all want to thank you for your help. You really have sacrificed a lot. Been treated very unfairly.
Well, they do like to run my cars, which is not great. You know, it's better.
But you have been treated unfairly. But the vast majority of people in this country really respect and appreciate it.
They have tried everything in their power to tear Trump and Elon apart, and it has failed miserably. And you know that really has to that really tears them up, man, that they have not been able to come between Trump and Elon. They have tried everything. They have tried to go after Trump's ego, and they've tried to claim that Elon Musk is the real president and Trump is carrying his water. None of it has worked. They've only made these two stronger.
And this whole room can say that very strongly. You've really been a tremendous help. You opened up a lot of eyes as to what could be done. And we just want to thank you very much. And, you're invited to stay as long as you want. At some point, I guess he wants to get back home to his cars and his. You've done an incredible job. $150 billion. Think of that.
Yeah. 160 now. Yeah.
Yeah,
There's
160.
coming.
They said, "Oh, it could have been more." And a lot of stuff is being worked on. That number could be doubled and even tripled. A lot of things are being worked on that we don't count yet because it's not quite there. But
Yes.
You've done a fantastic job, and we appreciate it very much, Elon.
Thank you. It's also an honor to work with your incredible cabinet. I just like to say thank you, everyone, for it's great to work with you.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
I'm Steve. Boy, you know they are mad about that. You got Trump just praising Elon praising the cabinet, talking about how much they like working together, making America great again. You know that pisses off the media big time, and Hollywood and the media really triggered over that. And hey, you deserve to be triggered over that, media. Dracon says, for 20, says, I don't know if you talked about it or not, but Benny Johnson claiming Big Mike finally admitted that he is a he. I don't know if it's true or not, but I thought I would share. Hail the Snake Pit 199. I did talk about that earlier in the show. I can show that again really quickly just because I do appreciate the super chat. So here's the clip right here. I've already explained my thoughts on it. So here's the here's the clip though. We'll listen to the clip and then I'll give you my thoughts.
I wanted to talk, Marlon, a bit about just so proud of how you are being a role model for dealing with a child that's transgender.
Absolutely.
And that's, that warms my heart, particularly as a Black man. Would you care to share that journey of?
Well, I learned.
Oh God, it sounds so bad, but I have to give the proper context. I have to be fair. Not that Big Mike would ever be fair to someone like me, and Big Mike has lied about out of context clips of President Trump 1,000 times, but Michelle clearly was talking about that it was from her perspective that she's seeing a brave Black man like Marlon Wayans basically not tell your child that you have a mental illness, because that's essentially what it is. And it's really not a mental illness at a young age. It's not. Children have developing minds, and it's the parent's job to help nurture and teach that child right from wrong, and reality from this fake reality that they create. So as I've said many times, when you have a kid and your kid looks up to superheroes, it's okay for your kid to pretend that they are Superman. But it's really important that you as the parent, teach the kid, hey, you can pretend to be Superman, but you can't really fly. So you can't go up to a building and try to fly. So you could pretend, and it's okay to pretend, but that's not reality. So the fact that Michelle Big Mike Obama is sitting here praising a grown-ass man for basically damaging their child, just shows you everything you need to know about Big Mike. But who am I? I'm just some asshole on the internet. So all I have is my opinions. Guess that's what I get for coming in late. Regardless, here's another 18 months. Thank you, brother. I appreciate it. No worries, man. No worries. Hey, everybody's busy. There's a lot of streams going on, so I appreciate anybody that decides to come over here and hang out. But yeah, I have to be like, Big Mike is not claiming what the the out of context clip is just that, and it's been done to Trump 1,000 times. Michelle and Barack have both lied about President Trump and the things that he has said out of context 1,000 times. With that said, it's funny as hell. It's absolutely funny as hell. So I have no sympathy for Big Mike at all. And so you're not going to hear me, having any sympathy or anything like that, but got to be honest about it. So it's not, unfortunately, true. When I first saw the clip, I was like, holy crap. I was on Daily and Beardo showed the clip. When he showed the clip, I went crazy. I'm like, you're kidding me. But it wasn't true. Yes, very fine people. As a matter of fact, somebody posted that very fine people. Let me get Big Mike off the screen before you guys start leaving, because I know you will if I don't. Sorry about that. My apologies. I respect the chat. We love the chat. We don't want the chat to get mad. There was a clip of the very fine people lie that was going around. I did bookmark it. Let me see if I can track it down really quickly. And it just shows you how pathetic and disingenuous these people are. They're really horrible people. Is this it right here? Yeah, this is because it was a Timcast clip. Here it is right here. Right here. Here we go.
Like I fact checked that. Now I will say, considering they've lied so much, I almost just don't believe when they disparage Trump. I'm like, I'm gonna wait a week, because this is a normal thing you got to do. If the media comes out and says Orange Man did bad thing, wait 1 week and then it gets debunked, and then you're like, okay, there it is. The media gets released.
He's right about that, but he's also part of the problem. Tim Pool has an emotional reaction all the time about President Trump and overreacts to shit that isn't true because he gets in his feelings. So he does this quite often too.
Video gets released. The full context gets released. Trump never did that thing. They're lying.
Did you know that Tara Polonary, she's still hung up on the Very Fine People hoax?
Yes, on the show.
We talked about it in the after show.
After you left, even she was extremely hung up on this and would not accept that she was misled at all.
Really? Did you show her the video?
Oh yeah, we talked about it.
I pulled up Snopes and showed her.
No. Even beyond that, she said, no. I still think he called them very fine people.
It's a cult, okay? Yeah. Because if you can't change your mind in the presence of facts, you are in a cult. And she's desperate to hold on to that.
Had recently started to claim that the president didn't actually say neo-Nazis in Charlottesville, quote, very fine people, even though he did say it.
But you also had people that were very fine people on both sides.
Why can't this president, who, by the way, called Nazis very fine people...
He believes those Nazis and white supremacists who marched in Charlottesville are very fine people.
And the president said there were very fine people on both sides, including marching with Nazis.
Yeah.
From white supremacists and neo-Nazis in Charlottesville, Trump's very fine people.
He praised those people marching with neo-Nazis and the KKK as very fine people.
Saying that neo-Nazis and Klansmen and white supremacists are very fine people.
Music's great.
So you know what? It's fine. You're changing history. You're changing culture. And you had people, and I'm not talking about the neo-Nazis and the white nationalists, because they should be condemned totally. But you also had people that were very fine people on both sides.
You had people in that group, excuse me, I saw the same pictures as you did. You had people in that group that were there to protest the taking down of, to them, a very, very important statue and the renaming of a park from Robert E. Lee to another name. No, George Washington was a slave owner. Was George Washington a slave owner? So will George Washington now lose his status? Are we going to take down, are we going to take down statues to George Washington? How about Thomas Jefferson? What do you think of Thomas Jefferson? You like him? Okay, good. Are we going to take down the statue? Because he was a major slave owner. Now we're going to take down his statue. So you know what? It's fine. You're changing history. You're changing culture. And you had people, and I'm not talking about the neo-Nazis and the white nationalists, because they should be condemned totally.
Everything. They're lying to you about everything. This is why I don't believe anything from the media. This is why, even at the sake of being wrong, I will not believe their reporting until there is undeniable proof, because the media is full of shit. They're lying to you about everything. They don't care. And that's just the truth of the matter. And the sooner people realize that, the better off we'll be. And in a lot of ways, you know, we are, a lot of people are waking up to that reality. Now, President Trump today in his boardroom meeting was, if you guys remember, I said something last night, or was it Monday, right? What's today? Yeah, Monday on CobraCast. I talked about the Canadian election, and I had a lot of people claiming that I was off my rocker because I theorized that I think that Trump does not like that Pierre Poilievre, whatever his name is. I don't think Trump likes that guy. And I think Trump saw through his bullshit. And I think that Trump wanted Carney to win. That's what I theorized. And I think that he set a trap for Pierre, and Pierre walked right into it. And people said I was crazy. Oh, this is a reach, Jeremy. I can't believe you're saying that. I've often dismissed the 4D, 5D chess theories of Trump, all of that, because I don't think he thinks like that, but I think he is a very strategic person. So I think that Trump's mind, whatever he wants to get out of Canada, is going to be better to deal with the Liberal Party to continue to destroy Canada than it will be to have this clown Pierre from the conservative side. So Trump was asked about Canada today, and this was his answer right here.
Frank, yeah. And yesterday he spoke about American betrayal. Are you interested in rebuilding relations with Canada? And if so, how?
No, well, I think we're going to have a great relationship. He called me up yesterday. He said, let's make a deal. You know, he was running for office. They both hated Trump. And it was the one that hated Trump, I think, the least that won. I actually think the conservative hated me much more than the so-called liberal.
See, he's just said it. He said, I think the conservative hated me more than the liberal. This Pierre clown had every opportunity to win this thing and take all the momentum, and his pure TDS truly got the best of him.
And the so-called liberal, he's a pretty liberal guy. No, I spoke to him yesterday. Couldn't have been nicer. And I congratulated him. You know, it was a very mixed signal because it's almost even, which makes it very complicated.
See there? See there?
Pretty tight race. But he's a very nice gentleman, and he's going to come to the White House very shortly, within the next week or less.
Mr. President, when will you speak to President Xi of China?
That'll happen. I mean, look, right now,
So that's the end of that clip right there. So I don't know, man. The guy just completely has TDS. The Pierre guy, he has TDS, and he couldn't let his Trump derangement syndrome. He couldn't push it aside. I personally like that whole apple eating scene, which I thought was very cool, by the way. In the moment, I guess that his pure dismissal of the Trump comparisons, I took his disdain is for the media asking him the questions, but in hindsight, his disdain was because he didn't want to be compared to Trump at all. He hated being compared to Trump. And that's looking back on it now, that's a lot easier to read now. So yeah, good stuff though. So we'll see what happens with the whole Canadian situation. I have no idea how that's going to play out. But I think Trump is probably in the best position he could be in, all things considered. Okay, so this story just broke. I don't know if you guys heard about this, but former New England Patriots Super Bowl winning head coach Bill Belichick is this is a very strange story, man. So I've been critical of Bill Belichick for years. Not that I didn't like Bill Belichick when he was at New England. I did. But I often felt that Tom Brady was more to blame for the success of the New England Patriots than Bill Belichick. The mainstream media always built this narrative that Bill Belichick was the genius and he could win with any quarterback, yada, yada, yada. And I just always rejected that idea. And then Tom Brady left the New England Patriots and the Patriots fell apart. Tom Brady went on to win another Super Bowl in Tampa and Bill Belichick got fired. Bill Belichick, I think he set out a couple of years in the NFL. No one wanted to hire him, so he decided to go coach college football. So he's going to coach for North Carolina. I've long said that I think Bill Belichick is extremely overrated as a head coach because Tom Brady elevated him. And now Bill Belichick is caught up in a relationship with a young girl. I'm not hating, bro. Do your thing. That ain't my problem. Like, do your thing. She's 24. Do your thing. All right. So that's your business. All right. So, but he did an interview and it's weird. Now, apparently he's commented on the interview, and let's just watch this interview. This is Bill Belichick, the man that dominated the NFL for decades and was the perceived leader of the locker room, a absolute alpha male of alpha males. That was the perception of Bill Belichick. And I always said it was more about Tom Brady than Bill Belichick. Here's the interview.
Make sure that that's the
Jordan was a constant presence during our interview.
You have Jordan right over there. Everybody in the world seems to be following this relationship. They've got an opinion about your private life. It's got nothing to do with them, but they're invested in it. How do you deal with that?
Never been too worried about what everybody else thinks. Just try to do what I feel like is best for me and what's right.
How did you guys meet?
not talking about this.
No.
It's a time.
What? Holy shit. When she just steps in the interview. This is wild. Holy shit.
Worried about what everybody else thinks. Just try to do what I feel like is best for me and what's right.
How did you guys meet?
Not talking about this.
No.
No.
It's a topic neither one of them is comfortable commenting on, though Hudson has recently posted about it on Instagram.
You joined InstaFace, as you put it. I love that. There's some great pictures of you and Jordan where you're a fisherman and she's a mermaid. It's charming. It's a different side of you. What's the reaction been like?
What's it been like?
To have these different sort of photos. There's another one where you're doing, I know you're not into meditation or yoga or Pilates. You're balancing Jordan on your feet. And she's doing kind of the Titanic pose.
I need everybody to understand, if you don't watch football, Bill Belichick, and you see how he's dressed right there, which I'm kind of shocked that he's still dressed that way, but that's how he's always dressed, to be fair. Bill Belichick has always been very anti-social media, very anti-media, very much like, my personal life is not your business. And now he's dating this 24-year-old chick, and she's posting all of their stuff on social media, and it's creating these discussions, and then they're getting mad when people are asking about it. And Bill Belichick, who's probably in his mid-70s, I'd have to look that up. He may be in his mid-70s. This, I'm not like, it comes off a bit like elder abuse. And I'm not saying she's a gold digger, but she ain't messing with a broke dude. Okay?
Yeah, so I'm on some of those social media platforms, but I honestly don't follow
What he does follow isn't clicks or views, but touchdowns and, above all, wins.
You do seem like you're having a lot more fun these days than you were.
I mean, listen, ladies in the chat, would you consider 70-something-year-old Bill Belichick a catch? I'm just asking questions here.
Other chapters of your life, let's say.
I enjoy football. I enjoy the whole process of it. It's hard to win, and it's hard to beat other good coaches, good teams. I appreciate the grind. I appreciate the competition. But coaching is fun, and honestly, I feel like I haven't worked a day in my life.
So apparently, Belichick has responded. Belichick rips CBS Sports for selectively editing his interview over the weekend to make his girlfriend, Jordan Hudson, look bad. Belichick is suggesting that CBS set him up after previously agreed upon conditions were not honored. I agreed to speak with CBS Sunday morning to promote my new book, The Art of Winning, Lessons of My Life in Football. Prior to this interview, I clearly communicated with my publicist at Simon & Schuster that any promotional interviews I participated in, I would agree to focus solely on the contents of my book. Unfortunately, that expectation was not honored during the interview, and I was surprised when unrelated topics were introduced. He didn't write any of this. He didn't write any of this. Holy shit. I repeatedly expressed to the reporter and to the producers that I preferred to keep the conversation centered on the book. Then why the fuck was she there? Why was she there? If you don't want anyone talking about your relationship, why are you making your relationship so public? And why is she there? This is insane. So anyway, weird story, man. Very weird story. And just so you know, like, I mean, this is the, like, so the Belichick I know, and this just shows you how women can corrupt a man. Let's see. This is the Bill Belichick I remember. Okay. So after they lost a game, Belichick, they were asking Belichick questions at a press conference. This was his answer over and over to the media.
What do you think having a 37-year-old?
We're on to Cincinnati. It's nothing about the past, nothing about the future. It's right now we're preparing for Cincinnati.
Okay, do you feel like the talent you have here is good?
We're getting ready for Cincinnati. We got to turn the page. I mean, we're going to sit there and talk about the Kansas City game for the rest of the season any more than we would talk about any of our big wins for day after day after day. You know, it's 24 hours after the game. You got to move on.
What is your responsibility?
Well, I mean, I'm just asking, do you think you've done enough to help Tom Brady?
We're getting ready for Cincinnati. I could have done it 3 times. I could have done it 53 times. It could have been 103 times if that's what they wanted to keep asking, because we had to turn the page. And we had. I'd say we had.
This man used to know how to manipulate the media like a master. And now he's crying that the media selectively edited his fucking interview where his girlfriend that he claims he didn't want to talk about was sitting right there. This is insane to me. She 100% wears the pants. She controls that relationship. Belichick, you did this to yourself. That simple. Andrew CR says that chick was either a hooker or a stripper. That's what the theory is. Because when you say, how did you guys meet? And she goes, we're not talking about that. And you're like, uh-oh. Uh-oh. Bill Belichick probably paid for something and got a little extra. And he's like, yo, you just want to hang out for the weekend? I got a few more bills that can keep you here for the weekend. And he probably just liked it so much that he decided, hey, why don't you just hang out for a little bit longer? That's what it sounds like. Cole Howler says, I was told from executives in the party that Trump was to blame for the loss. The Trump stab, that Trump stabbed the conservatives in the back. I don't know if you saw my DM. I wrote it I wrote Trump in on my ballot. Hell yeah, man. I didn't see your DM, but I will check it out. And it's clear, like, these people cannot get over the Trump effect. The Trump effect is the most powerful force in the universe right now. And it's pretty great that they continue to walk right into this. Let's see. Prayers for you and your family, Jeremy. Thank you so much. No, the context doesn't matter. He said he's a black man. End of story. Use their tactics or it will never end. Not necessarily, but I mean, again, I get it. I'm not apologizing for Big Mike. Okay. But, I think that Trump being back in office proves that we can defeat them. But yeah, I don't want to use their tactics because, that's just no better than they are. It's just about showing how manipulative they are. So I think the best way to handle this is to go, hey, as much as I think it's a funny meme that Big Mike said, that as a black man, ultimately, what the best way to handle that is for any person that's got a decent following is to say, it's out of context, much like what they did to President Trump. And then you show the truth about what they did to President Trump and show that, hey, this is their game and we need to expose it. That's the way I think. And that's what I did. You know what I mean? So, let me see if I can find it really quick. Or you can do it like this. So you got Trump. This is what Trump, whenever Trump sees Big Mike, this is what Trump does right here.
A protester inside, which isn't even very often. I say, be very gentle. Please don't hurt him. We had a case where we had an African-American guy who was a fan of mine. Great fan, great guy. In fact, I want to find out what's going on with him. You know what look at my African-American over here. Look at him. Are you the greatest? You know what I'm talking about? Okay.
That was Donald Trump.
It never gets old, dude. It never gets old.
Great fan, great guy. In fact, I want to find out what's going on with him. You know what look at my African-American over here.
Great guy. My African-American President Trump. And then, what did Trump say yesterday? If I could find it, because Trump had another comment yesterday at his rally. If I could find it, it was like blacks for Trump or something. It was in the front row. I can't. I don't know if I could find that one right now. Trump's just so damn funny, man. It's great. I'll hunt it down here in just a minute. Find my bookmarks. I didn't know it was gay. Says I didn't know Epic Mike was gay. Packy Proton says, new take on an old joke. How are your friends at the Blue Oyster Bar these days? If you know, you know. Vault 95 says, I'll skip pro science today for CobraCast the second time. Cole Hauser, I got that one. Stuart H says, hail D-Day Cobra and chat. Jared the American says, Pierre is just a Canadian Ron DeSantis and a beta. That's a pretty good description. Crazy Joe says, hail to 199. Philip says, good to be rich when old. So what's wrong? No, it's not a bad deal. Zinni Biscuit says, Putin is 71, 39, 40-year-olds older than me would, no regrets. Look at Zinni Biscuit. Philip says, somewhere there is, what? Somewhere there is an empty street corner. Why are you putting the abbreviations in there? They'll let you say some. Spirian for the 199 super sticker. Thank you so much, Spirian. Appreciate that. Jeremy, when he's introducing Meek, it never gets old, man. I want to find that comment from Trump because it was. Is this it? Yeah, right here. Here it is. This is yesterday at the rally. Here we go.
How the hell did that happen?
There's my friend, Blacks for Trump. I like that guy. He follows me. He follows me. We love you. Your whole group has been so supportive over the years. I want to thank you. Everyone thinks I pay you a fortune. I don't know. I don't even know who the hell he is. I just like him.
I don't even know who he is. I just like him. What? Oh man. Absolute comedian, dude. Absolute comedian. Let me see if there was one more, if I could find it. Sometimes the search function doesn't work very well on Twitter. Don't know where it's at. Yeah, Twitter's search function absolutely sucks. It's not as bad as Rumble's, but it continues to, what is this? I've never seen this clip right here. Hang on.
MAGA says, make America great again. These are people that love our country. I have no idea if they're going to be here. I was just asking. But I have no idea if they're going to be here. But MAGA is make America great again. By the way, they love African-American people. They love black people. MAGA loves black people. I heard that MAGA wanted to be there.
MAGA loves black people. Holy shit.
MAGA loves black people. I heard that MAGA wanted to be there. A lot of MAGA was going to be there. I have no idea if that's true or not. But they love our country. Remember that. MAGA, it's just an expression, but MAGA loves our country. Okay.
Woo! Holy crap, man. Trump is just too damn funny. There's one more. Oh, I didn't mean to stop sharing that. There's one more if I could find it, but I don't know where it's at right now. I'll find it here in just a few minutes. Let's see. Fantastic OG says, we need a black pope. I mean, Trump wants to be the pope. So he volunteered himself to be the pope, but I don't think that's going to happen anytime soon, unfortunately. But it would be good. I mean, I would totally support a President Trump as the pope. I don't really know how, like I've always said, like when it comes to like the Pope and all that, I don't really give a shit about all that stuff, man. Like, whatever. Do your thing. The Pope is, from my experience, from what I've heard, from what I've observed, the Pope seems to be typically a very evil person. And I wouldn't want anything I would personally not want anything to do with the Pope. But that's just me. Maybe I'm wrong. Now, if you remember, we got a new Trump word yesterday at the rally.
Thanks for all of the things that we've done and to our policies. Trillions of dollars are now pouring into the United States because of common sense, just common sense. Apple, great company, was building everything in China. Now they just announced that they're spending $500 billion to invest in America, not in China. My friend Jensen from Nvidia, they're spending, you know what Nvidia is?
Nvidia. Patriotic Eagle says, that's my president. I voted for this man. Hail. Nvidia and Samsung. Samsung is one of my favorite words that he's made up. Let's see what this is. Oh, I haven't seen this. Okay, so this is actually an interesting clip. I'm going to watch this for the first time. I'll set the table first. So, professional wrestling, Stone Cold Steve Austin. It was reported that Logan Paul offered Stone Cold Steve Austin $1 million to wear a Prime bottle outfit at WrestleMania, and Stone Cold Steve Austin turned him down immediately, no questions asked. And Logan Paul walked away from it saying, I don't think there's any price that he would have accepted. Now, apparently Stone Cold was asked about it right here. And it says Stone Cold Steve Austin is low-key annoyed that Logan Paul publicly revealed that he tried to pay him to dress up in a Prime bottle.
Logan Paul said on his podcast that he offered you a sum of money to dress up in a Prime bottle and you turned it down. Is that true?
Man, if he said that, I'm not going to call him a liar. And I just thought that was kind of personal business. But so since it's out there, yeah, I turned it down. I'm in the beer business. I sell Broken Skull beer, and we're in about 25 or 30 states. I don't know anything about his product. I don't know about the ingredients in it, if it's good, if it's bad, or whatever. So it wasn't my thing. So yeah, I turned it down just because I wasn't into it, and that's no disrespect to him or his product.
Damn. And the fact that Logan Paul even had to put that business out there, it just shows like Logan Paul. I fucking hate Logan Paul. Like there are few people in this world that I hate more than Logan Paul. I despise Logan Paul with every ounce of my being. I can't stand him. I don't trust him. I think he's a phenomenal professional wrestler, and I give him credit for that. But as a human being, he's terrible. And yeah, you could clearly tell Stone Cold was not happy that was even put out there. So I'm glad Stone Cold reacted that way. That's just bullshit, man. But that's Logan Paul, man. This is TikTok generation. And we're going to continue to get stuff like that, unfortunately. He is the worst, though. He really is terrible, but he's going to be in wrestling for a long time. Sadly, because he's an incredible athlete. Sad but true. So there we go. Somebody simulated 10,000 gorillas versus 1 million men, and the 10,000 gorillas won. Okay. That whole thing went crazy on social media. So, Fantastic OG says we need a black pope. Oh, I got that one. Patriot got that one. Andrew CR says Nvidia is Samsung's wife. Let's see. Do you guys want to see the simulation? I mean, I can play it if you want. Here it is right here. So here's the simulation. Here we go. I guess I time lapsed it. There you go. So there you go. So you guys wanted to see it. There it is. That's the simulation that's going on social media right now. That whole trend has just been all over the place. I guess it got started by one person and then everybody just jumped on it, I guess. I don't know. But that's the talk of the internet right now. So there you go. People can have at that one, I guess. Let me see. Robot versus Cyborg says MAGA loves black people and Beardo loves the gays. Isn't that nice? Isn't that nice? Fantastic Mr. Knox says Logan Paul is a desperate. Prime drink sales down. I don't know if I necessarily agree with that. I mean, Logan Paul is extremely successful, and you know, he Prime is a major sponsor of WWE and UFC. I personally, and I'm on record saying this, and I have no problem putting this on the internet, okay? I will die of dehydration before I drink if Prime is the last thing on earth, I'm dead. I will not drink Prime. I've never tried it. I never will try it. It will never happen. I will die before I drink Prime. I certainly will. If somebody's like, you know, hey, the only thing there is to drink is Prime, then I'm like, it's been a good run, but I'm out. So never gonna have it. So there you go. That's my stance on it. But at the same time, if you drink it and if you like it, it's your business. It's not my business. But I will never drink it. I will never have anything to do with it. I'll put the only asterisk I'll put beside that is that if Logan Paul ever doesn't own it, then maybe I will change my mind. But I only can affiliate it with Logan Paul anyway. And I don't think there's ever going to be a time where Logan Paul doesn't own it. So I will never drink it. I mean, to be fair, I only drink water these days anyway. I don't drink anything else but water. I don't drink soda anymore. Maybe occasionally I drink soda, but yeah, I'm never going to drink Prime ever. So if you ever offer me Prime, I'll say this as a person that's never drank alcohol, I would rather drink alcohol than drink Prime. All right. That right there. I've never drank a beer. I've never drank wine. I've never drank anything like that. And I never will, but I would rather drink that than drink Prime. So Jeremy going vegan, not necessarily not going vegan. But I am 45 years old. So I kind of need to stop eating like shit. I think that's probably a smart move at this point in life, because if not, I might not be here much longer. And I kind of like life. Life is pretty fun these days. Taker says, what about 1 million Jays high on Choco tacos versus 10,000 gorillas? Don't take Jay lightly when he's had a Choco taco. 45 is the new 90s. Let's see. Damn, Jeremy, you're older than a mofo. And then the next one is you're so young, Jeremy. There you go. So which is it? RFK Jr. approved. Where is the fountain? What? Oh, you think I look? Most people don't think I'm as old as I am. I don't know. Maybe one day I'll wake up and I'll just look old. Munchie Ninja for 20. You can arrest aliens without a warrant. Look up 8 USC 1357. Knowledge is power. There you go. Well, the media doesn't care about the facts, though. And thank you for the 20. I appreciate that. But Jeremy is a young, vibrant man. Yeah. You look younger than you are, at least on YouTube. On YouTube, at least. Well, people that have met me in person can probably say the same thing. I think I might look a tad bit older in person, but I think I still just have that. I look younger than I really am in person, too. I think. People that have met me can confirm that. I've met a lot of people. So whether that's true or not is up for everybody else to decide. Okay, we got more news to talk about. Give me just a second. I got to pull this up. Where's that at? So the ABC News clips. What does the Trump interview have right now on YouTube? Let me see if I can find it. Full interview. Look for that. I want to watch this clip right here. So this is a 8-minute clip over on YouTube. Let's see. Jeremy looks young because he hangs around Gary. Let me see. You look younger than Beardo and Ryan. Yeah, that's true. Am I 46? Maybe I am 46. I guess I just had a birthday. I guess I am 46. Fuck. I'm at a point I think it was my mid-20s I stopped caring about my birthday. So I I'm not really a birthday person. I don't really care about birthdays. It's just 1 year closer to death. So I don't really pay attention to birthdays anymore. All right, here we go.
Okay, let's move on to immigration. And as you said, it is an undeniable fact that illegal crossings at the southern border have plummeted, a staggering decline. But there are questions about your methods. And so I want to ask
About my message?
Methods, about your methods, how you're
Well, they
accomplishing
seem to
this.
work.
They seem to work. Damn it. I love how Trump handles that shit.
I want to ask
About my message?
methods, about your methods, how you're
Well, they
accomplishing
seem to
this.
work.
Do you acknowledge that under our law, every single person who gets deported gets a hearing first to make their case?
Well, are we talking about people that are citizens of our country or not?
No, you aren't deporting citizens at this point.
Well, let me ask you, did they get hearings when Biden allowed 21 million, because I think the number is 20 million people to flow into our country? You had 21 million people
Exactly.
that came into our country through a stupid open border, and they were prisoners, and they were people that you don't want in many cases in our country, right? They came from all over the world. They came from the Congo. They came from South. They came from all over the world. We're talking about some of the roughest countries in the world. They had here, including terrorists, by the way. Now,
but
did we give them a hearing when they came in?
Well, the law requires that every single person who is going to be deported gets a hearing first.
Well,
you acknowledge that?
I'll have to ask the lawyers about that. All I can say is this: if you're going to have 21 million people, and we have to get a lot of them out because they're criminals, we're going to have to act fast. We can't. Do you think we can give 21 million trials? Let's say each trial takes 2 weeks. Is that what you want us to
The
do?
law
Give
is the
21
law,
million?
sir. The law is the law, and you're
the law
sworn
doesn't
to
say anything.
uphold
The law is the law. Did the motherfuckers that came in here illegally care about the law? They came in illegally. They are not documented in the United States of America. A taxpayer should not have to fucking worry about due process for people that are not fucking hell, the media, dude.
About trials?
No, not trials, hearings. I said
These
hearings.
people came in, they're not citizens. They came in illegally. They came into our country illegally.
And
We
there's
have to get them out.
There's a legal process for that.
I can't, sure, and we follow the legal process. I can't have a trial, a major trial
I'm not
for
saying
every
that.
person that came in illegally. We have thousands of murderers that came in. They're going to murder people. They already have murdered people in our country.
Right, so
we have to get them out,
they're
and we have to
bad
get them
guys,
out fast.
Really bad guys. But in our country, even bad guys get due process, right?
If people come into our country illegally, there's a different standard. These are illegal. They came in illegally.
But they get due process.
Well, they get a process where we have to get them out. Yeah.
Okay, let's talk about the Venezuelans.
They get whatever my lawyers say.
Right. All right, let's talk about the Venezuelans. You deported more than 200 Venezuelans to that prison in El Salvador. You say they're violent, they're gang members, they're terrorists. Many of them don't have a criminal record at all.
Well,
but I want to.
I'm not so sure about that. If you take a look,
I want to read you something.
Excuse me. When you look at those people, they were.
Somebody asked, why does Trump keep doing these interviews? The truth, because he likes it. He likes fighting with them. He likes arguing with them. And I respect that. But I absolutely, he likes it. He likes mixing up with them.
Were violent people. They were violent people.
But many of them don't have a criminal record
Go
at this
ahead.
point.
I don't-
I want
that's
to read
what
you
you
something.
say.
Well, it's based
Go
on their lawyer, what their lawyers
Go
have
ahead.
said. Okay.
Go ahead.
Joe Rogan said this. Joe Rogan, one of the leading podcasters, Trump supporter, about the deportation of Venezuelans. He said, quote, rounding up gang members and shipping them to El Salvador with no due process, he said it was dangerous, and added, quote, we got to be careful that we don't become monsters while we're fighting monsters. That's Joe Rogan right.
Oh, I agree with that 100%.
It sounds super, super gay what Joe Rogan said.
Yeah, we want to be careful, and we are careful. We're doing something that has to be done. We have a country that's very sick. Joe Biden, and it's not him because I don't even think he knew what the hell was happening, but the people around him are vicious people. And what they've done to the country is unbelievable. They've allowed 21 million people to pour into our country. Many of these people are criminals. They've allowed you mentioned Venezuela, the jails of Venezuela to be emptied into the United States. Do you know Venezuela crime is way down? Way down. You know why? Because their criminals are now living happily in the United States of America, and we're getting them out. And I was elected to get them out, and we're getting them
Under
out,
the law. It
and
sounds
we're
like-
getting them out fast, and we're getting them out legally. Now, in some cases, we have judges. In some cases, they're radical left judges. What happened the other day where a judge was protecting a criminal was horrible. And I think she's got big problems,
Probably.
frankly.
I wanna
And
talk
there are a
about-
couple of them like that.
I want to talk about one
Wait a
man.
minute.
Yep.
We have to be treated fairly by judges, and we're not being treated fairly by all judges.
Oh, that's a subject. So you're saying that you don't like some of the rulings, some of the
Well,
court orders?
I think the rulings will be overturned, yeah.
All right. Let me ask you about one man and one court order. Kilmar Abrego Garcia. He's the Salvadoran man who crossed into this country illegally, but who is under a protective order that he not be sent back to El Salvador. Your government sent him back to El Salvador and acknowledged in court that was a mistake. And now the Supreme Court has upheld an order that you must return him facilitate his return to the United States. What are you doing to comply?
Well, the lawyer that said it was a mistake was here a long time, was not appointed by us, should not have said that, And just so
Said it
you
in court.
understand,
Said
the
it in
person
court.
that you're talking about, you're making this person sound, this is a MS-13 gang member, a tough cookie, been in lots of skirmishes, beat the hell out of his wife, and the wife was petrified to even talk about him, okay? This is not an innocent, wonderful gentleman from Maryland.
I'm not saying he's a good guy. It's about the rule of law. The order from the Supreme Court stands,
He came
sir.
into our country illegally.
You could get him back. There's a phone on this desk.
I could.
You could pick it up, and with all the power of the presidency, you could call up the president of El Salvador and say, send him back right now.
And if he were the gentleman that you say he is, I would do that.
But the court has
he's
ordered
not.
you to facilitate that.
I'm not the one making this decision. We have lawyers that
president.
don't want to do this.
But
Terry.
the buck stops in this office.
No. I follow the law. You want me to follow the law? If I were the president that just wanted to do anything, I'd probably keep him right where he
Supreme
is.
Court says what the law is.
Listen, I was elected to take care of a problem. It was a unforced error that was made by a very incompetent man, a man that turned out to be incompetent, that you always said was wonderful, a great genius, right? And now you find out, all of the media now, they're saying what a mistake they made. A man who was grossly incompetent allowed us to have open borders where millions of people flowed in. I campaigned on that issue. I wouldn't say it was my number one issue, but it was pretty close.
Right up there.
I campaigned on that issue. I've done an amazing job. I have closed borders. He said you couldn't do it. You wouldn't be able to do it. It would never happen. Well, it happened, and it happened very quickly. Wait a minute. When we have criminals, murderers, criminals in this country, we have to get them out, and we're doing it.
By law.
And you'll pick out one man, but even the man that you picked out, he said he wasn't a member of a gang. And then they looked, and on his knuckles, he had MS-13.
There's a dispute.
But
over that.
wait a minute. He had MS-13 on his knuckles
didn't say it.
tattooed.
Oh, he had some tattoos that are interpreted that way. But let's move on.
Wait a minute. Hey, Terry.
He did not
Don't
have the
do that.
letter MS-13.
It says MS-13.
Yeah, that was Photoshopped. So let me
That
just.
was Photoshop, Terry. You can't do that. Hey, they're giving you the big break of a lifetime. You're doing the interview. I picked you because, frankly, I never heard of you, but that's okay. But I picked you, Terry, but you're not being very nice. He had MS-13 tattooed.
We'll agree to disagree. I want to move on to something else.
Terry, do you want me to show you the picture?
I saw the picture.
And you think it was Photoshop? Well,
Here we go.
Don't Photoshop it. Go look at his hand. He had MS-13.
He did have tattoos that can be interpreted that way. I'm not an expert on them. I want to turn to Ukraine.
No,
sir. I
Terry,
want to get to
Terry,
Ukraine.
no.
He will not let him move
He
on.
had MS, as clear as you can be, not interpreted. This is why people no longer believe the news, because
When
it's
he was
fake
photographed
news.
in El Salvador, they aren't there. But let's just go on. They aren't there when he's in El Salvador.
They
Take
weren't
a look
there,
at the
but they're
photograph.
there now, right?
No,
But they're there
in
now.
your picture.
Terry,
Ukraine, sir.
he's got MS-13 on his knuckles. Okay?
We'll take a look.
You do
We'll take a
such a
look.
disservice.
We'll take a look at
Why
that,
don't you
sir.
just say, yes, he does, and go on to something
All right,
else?
It's contested.
So damn good, dude. I freaking love it. Okay. Now, before we move on, I do have another clip that I want to talk about. Good old Frank Luntz. Frank Luntz is talking about Trump voters. Who is Frank Luntz? Frank Luntz is a what exactly would you call Frank Luntz? Is he a pollster? Is he what is he? He's this guy that collects data and everything like that. What Frank Luntz is a complete psychopath. Okay, so before we talk about what Frank Luntz is going to get into about Trump voters, let me show you how this guy's very disturbed and very deranged. Okay. So I've shown this video a few times. For those that have never seen it, just be prepared to be completely disturbed because this is Frank Luntz right here.
So Frank, what am I looking at? You seem very presidential today. Where are you?
This is actually my home in California. This is a 78% replica of the Oval Office. And over here, as I turn this around, this is the Lincoln bedroom. So I'm the only person who has an Oval Office that you can actually sleep in and you don't have to be a presidential intern.
This is not a green screen? Like if you got out of your chair, and I don't want you to because you have a mic, you could actually walk back there. There's depth.
Yes, I'm going to show you what it looks like. Oh my goodness. And this is a genuine Resolute desk. I'm going to put it there behind me. So you can see, including the buck stops here.
Wow.
We've got the humidor from Bill Clinton. Let's see if I can get that in the shot. There you go. This is the whole thing. And that is behind me is the painting of George Washington that was in the Richard Nixon White House. This is the red phone. This is the famous phone that was used to contact the Kremlin in the 1970s and 1980s.
Wow. That's something. Wow. That is something, Frank. I'm still trying to get my head around the Bill Clinton humidor.
So that's Frank Luntz right there. And now here's Frank Luntz today talking about Trump voters.
I've been mocked for saying I'm surprised about this, but I'm surprised about this. That Trump voters who acknowledge that they're worth less today than they were on election day, that the 401ks they depend on for their future has been hurt, has been damaged. And yet they stand behind him. They'll make excuses that the markets were overbought. They'll make excuses that we need to level set. They're willing to accept personal pain for them to get a readjustment of the relationship between the U.S. and China, a readjustment of the relationship between the U.S. and the rest of the world. They'll take personal pain to get that readjustment. And Andrew, I've never seen this before, because usually when you're hurt economically, that changes your perspective and your politics. Not with these people. You're staying firm. I've been mocked for saying
You've been mocked for a lot of things. I think the thing you should be mocked for is that dead rat on your head, because my goodness, like he's not even trying. He's not even trying to hide the fact that he has a wig. It's horrible. Now, in terms of Trump voters, yeah, I'm not sure if Frank Luntz understands this, but to hardworking Americans, regular everyday people, we understand that sometimes you got to take a step back in order to take a step forward, especially after what happened the last 4 years with the Biden administration or the Barack Obama's third administration, however you want to look at that. But yeah, you got to go through some lumps to get to where you want to go. And I think everybody understands that. The Biden administration screwed this country up significantly. And in order to get things course corrected, it's going to take a little bit of time. And I think we all understand that. So that's not really complicated at all. So I know Frank Luntz doesn't understand that, but most normal, everyday hard working Americans understand that. Joker Mazda says, would you drink Prime or this really old cup of KFC gravy that has been sitting on my customer's dashboard? Neither. I would just call it a good life and go on about my business. Christian Rocker says Prime sucks. Next CobraCast sponsored by Prime. Never. Packing Proton says 1 Krista versus 1 Switch 2 available at the store and 1,000 customers at launch. Patriotic Cat says, I have a clean record. Let me break into your home. Like Christian Rocker. Maybe this is an elaborate scheme. Maybe I'm just trying to trick Logan Paul into giving me $1 million for a Prime sponsorship. There we go. Wouldn't that be a funny one? Packing Proton says, I wonder if Trump knows who Bob Iger is and the man's massive TDS boner. I imagine he knows who Bob Iger is. Absolutely. Joker Mazda says the media is dodging how cartel members been transporting ammo 2 times as far as we know from Utah to Colorado. Mainstream media and Dems love cartels. This is true. Drink water. That's all I do is drink water. Comics Dad says, Hail Snake Pit, Mage, MAGA, or MAGA Mage, and the 199. Keep up the great work, dude. Also feels bad about Respawn Titanfall. I mean, yeah, like I said, I've said many times I don't care. I've accepted that Titanfall 3 is never happening, so it's really not a big deal for me. Omar says, green tea, Jeremy, healthiest drink, second to water, low caffeine, real tea leaves, not the fake stuff, acquired taste, but it'll make you less of a fig. I feel like green tea kind of feels like it'd be gay. But being healthy is kind of gay, to be fair. So it lines up. Sam Uri says that due process doesn't mean court. The law says deports. Grey Ghost says the money that guy spent turning his room into an Oval Office would have been better spent on hair replacement surgery. That's just true. It's actually good for you. I know. But I used to drink sweet tea. I'm from the South, so I used to drink sweet tea a lot. Let's see. I think we got another clip right here with Trump and ABC. Here we go.
A little bit about presidential power, the powers that you have in the presidency temporarily that the American people have given you, right? You've revoked a lot of people's security clearances. You've revoked people's security details who are still threatened, with death threats. You've gone after law firms because they've employed people you don't like, or they have represented people
They
you don't
obviously
like.
agreed because they paid me a lot of money.
Well, the reason they agreed is because you were threatening to destroy their business with your executive order that said you can't represent clients for the federal government. That's their bread and
big
butter.
boys. These are the biggest, most powerful lawyers. These are not
You got a
people that
lot of leverage
are
as
easily
president.
intimidated.
As president, you got all the cards.
They paid hundreds of millions of dollars because they felt, I guess, they probably.
You said as president, he has all the cards. Why didn't you ever press Joe Biden on these things, ABC News? Why didn't you sit Joe Biden down and press him and go, you have all the cards? Why are you allowing a former president of the United States to be targeted in this nature? Why are you allowing this, President Biden? You never said that, did you? You never had these concerns when Biden was in office, did you?
They felt they did something wrong.
It was for survival, sir.
No, it isn't.
You're crushing their business.
These firms are very powerful firms, and there's 15 of them. And these are firms that probably, look, you have to ask them. In fact, this is a separate story. You have to ask them, why did you all pay Trump hundreds of millions of dollars in services, etc.? Why did you do that? I don't know.
You don't think that
we have a clause in the thing that while we admit no wrongdoing, but it's like one of those things. And now I'm friendly with those firms, but it's these are the most powerful firms in the world, and they just signed whatever I put in front of them. I've never seen anything like it. I'm actually surprised myself in a certain way, but they obviously felt they probably did something wrong. I guess that's why they signed.
I guess the question out of that is the concern that people have. Are you using your powers as president to get personal revenge?
No, I'll tell you what you're really not asking, and you should be asking. There has never been a president in this country, in the history, that was persecuted like I was persecuted by really crooked people, dishonest, horrible people, and it's been proven. So when you say I'm treating people rough, I'm not treating people rough. I was treated worse than any president in the history of our country. And, people figured, well, maybe that's it. Finally, we got, he's leaving town. There goes the helicopter. And then I came back. And I came back because I have tremendous support. You know, when you win an election like I won it, and you will admit I won all 7 swing states, I won the popular vote, I won 2,750 districts compared to 500 districts. That's why the map is all red. And those people feel that I was treated unfairly.
But does that give you the right to go after your political opponents with the powers of this office?
I'm going after, all I'm doing, hey, Biden did something to me, and I did something to Biden. And you know why I did it? Because he's grossly incompetent. That's not a man that should be allowed to, be looking at things that are very confidential.
But what about,
because he didn't,
71
here's a
people
man that
revoked
used
there.
an auto pen to sign very important documents. Now, who really is, do you think he knew that they were using an auto pen? I mean, he used an auto pen to sign very, very important documents. And so those are really the questions you should be asking. What do you think of the auto pen? Who wielded the auto pen? Because whoever that person was, think of it, whoever the person that wielded the auto pen, he was really the president of the United States. Because I don't think that Biden knew anything about it.
Fair enough. But you are the president now, and I'm asking the justification for going after people you don't like.
No. People that I think are dishonest. It's not that I don't even know most of them. They're people that I think
These people
are
made you
dishonest.
angry.
It's not anger. These are people that I think are very dishonest. I don't think they're worthy of being able to go into top secret information. I think that's
Reminder that the Biden DOJ had a person arrested for a fucking meme. Yes, a meme. They had a person arrested for a meme. They had hundreds of people arrested for a guided tour. But none of these things were a problem.
It's fine. And Biden did that with many of our people. But when you look at it, these are people that I don't think are worthy. That's my decision. It's not a question of anger.
Okay. I understand you just had a phone call with a new Canadian premier, and they just had this election.
Yeah.
I haven't heard
you were
this
a big
part.
issue in it. And Canadians, many of them, are really angry, furious about your talk about we're going to take over. Canada's going to become the 51st state. And it kind of is of a piece. A lot of travel is down into the United States from around the world. It feels like there's been reputational
The country's
damage.
doing great.
Well,
prices are down.
not the tourism
Gasoline's down. Energy's down. Tourism is going to be way up. Wait till you see the numbers. The tourism is way up.
Not now.
Now, Canada, tourism's doing very well. We're doing very well. Wait till you see the real numbers come out in 6 months from now. Wait till you see the numbers.
But do you
They're gonna be
think, I'm going to
very
ask
good.
you, if I may, do you think the reputation of the United States has gone down under your presidency?
No, I think it's gone way up, and I think we're a respected country again. We were laughed at all over the world. We had a president that couldn't walk up a flight of stairs, couldn't walk down a flight of stairs, couldn't walk across a stage without falling. We had a president that was grossly incompetent. You knew it, I knew it, and everybody knew it, but you guys didn't want to write it because you're fake news.
All right. Thank you.
And by the way, ABC is one of the worst. I have to be honest with you.
Thank you for the opinion, but more importantly, thank you for having us here. I have one more question. It's a big one. It's a question that you know a lot of people have out there. What do you say to people who are concerned you are seizing too much power and becoming an authoritarian president like we haven't had before?
No, I would hate them to think that. I'm doing one thing. I'm making America great again. We have a country that was failing. We have a country that was laughed at all over the world. We had a leader that was grossly incompetent. He should have never been there. The election was rigged. He should have never been there. Our country suffered greatly, and now our country's coming back like nobody can believe. I have editorials just today where they're saying they've never seen anything like it. They love it. Our country's coming back, and we're respected again.
Trump is so good at this stuff, man. He's so funny. And, they want to, this interviewer tried like hell to get something on Trump. Trump's only issue was how he handled the MS-13 tattoos. He misspoke on that. But it is what it is, so, but it was ABC got absolutely clobbered. Let me see where we got on that. Okay. Oh, Rumble, Modest Rat says, looking real gay, Jeremy. Hail the 199 and God Emperor Trump. You know, somebody got really upset when I made that God Emperor Trump reference on Twitter, but it was mainly because they didn't understand the meme, so I had to explain the meme. I guess sometimes you have to realize that everybody's not in on all the memes at all times, so I have to remember that. And I think that's something we should all be, aware of, that everybody's not following every piece of news or information sometimes, especially here in our world. There's just a lot of moving parts and a lot of things that are happening. If you missed it earlier, there was a really awesome moment with Elon Musk and Donald Trump in the White House earlier. I'll play it right here.
But you have been treated unfairly. But the vast majority of people in this country really respect and appreciate you. And this whole room can say that very strongly. You've really been a tremendous help. You opened up a lot of eyes as to what could be done. And we just want to thank you very much. And, you're invited to stay as long as you want. At some point, I guess he wants to get back home to his cars and his. He's done an incredible job. $150 billion. Think of that.
Yeah. 160 now.
Yeah, 160. They said, it could be more. And a lot of stuff is being worked on. That number could be doubled and even tripled. A lot of things are being worked on that we don't count yet because it's not quite there. But you've done a fantastic job, and we appreciate it very much, Elon.
Thank you. It's also an honor to work with your incredible cabinet. I just like to say thank you, everyone. It's great to work with you.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
Hell yeah, man. That's awesome. Do we know what's going on with James O'Keefe these days? He posted this T-7 days. He posted this on Twitter.
I'm going dark. I'm not suicidal. Pray for me. This one scares me, guys.
I appreciate James O'Keefe. I appreciate what he does. That felt super, super gay. Like, it was way too over the top. It was way too over the top for me. So, like, the different camera angles and, the shot where it shows, like, O'Keefe Media Group, like, it's professional wrestling is what it is. Like, if you want me to take you seriously, then I need you to not put, like, thought into, like, hey, guys, we need to have the perfect shot, and we need to have this, and we have to have that. It's way too dramatic for me to take it that seriously. James O'Keefe does great work. Don't get me wrong. I met him. He watched one of my videos that I covered, one of his undercover things for Disney. I think he does great work. But that was super cringe right there. I mean, I got to call cringe out when I see it, regardless if it's from somebody on the left or the right. That was pretty damn cringe. What's this right here? Seeing what people are saying. A lot of people are speculating he may be going up against the Clintons. I'm not sure. It's interesting. I'll say that much. It's interesting. So I'll give him credit for that. Cole Hauser says a Canadian dollar is worth 68 cents ABC. They don't care. They don't care. I didn't know it was gay. He says, in case you missed it, I didn't know it was gay. I still can't believe that Beardo decided to say that. But what is this right here? Chuck Schumer wrecked by facts. Let's see. Illegal border encounters are down 95%. Gotaways are down 99%. All Schumer can muster is, I don't trust Trump's numbers.
On border security, the White House and Republicans are touting the claim that illegal crossings are down by 95%. Gotaways, as they call them, are down by 99%. And only 9 foreign nationals were released into the country compared to many more under the Biden administration during the equal year. Is that not a sign that the Republicans...
I'd say one thing to you. I don't trust Trump's numbers.
That's all you got? That's all you have? You have nothing else that you just don't I just don't trust Trump's numbers. That's a pretty pathetic answer. If I'm being honest, that's a pretty pathetic answer. So, good Lord, man. What the hell's wrong with these people? Chuck Schumer's broken. They're all kind of broken. AOC, I saw AOC was tweeting Trump the other day. AOC said this about Trump. Let me pull her Twitter account up. She said that right here. Trump begins his 100-day rally speech in Michigan by saying Bernie Sanders is drawing crowds too, but ours are bigger. And then she says, tell me we're in his head without telling me we're in his head. I think she's running, guys. I 100% think she's running. What is this? What is Mays tweeting right here? Hang on.
Here across the United on increased federal resources to cities and municipalities dealing with this issue. The second is to allow for work authorizations that also here.
Is that like did he edit that? I wonder. Hang on.
Increased federal resources to cities and municipalities dealing with this issue. The second is to allow for work authorizations that.
Yeah, he had to edit that over. She does speak like a toddler, though. Well, it's from 2 years ago. Yes, Mays actually does great content. I highly recommend following Mays if you have not. He actually has a lot of good content over there. And a lot of good memes. And I saw someone in the chat said that memes are for people that don't have an argument. Yeah, let's just agree to disagree on that one because, memes are part of the internet culture and memes are one of the most glorious things you'll ever find on the internet. We also have Tim Walz who says, I was picked for Kamala's VP so I could code talk to white guys.
No, yes, I said the choice to be on this ticket, the privilege of being on it. When you sign up for this, I'm a team player. I'm with it. And there's folks that I recognize are smarter than me. They analyze this. You put your input in. Running a campaign that had never been run before, 100 days, in the situation we were at, running against a very unusual opponent on the other side. Mm-hmm. And look, my job was to do it. Look, I knew I was on the ticket. I would argue because we did a lot of amazing progressive things in Minnesota to improve people's lives. But I also was on the ticket, quite honestly, because I could code talk to white guys watching football, fixing their truck, doing that I could put them at ease. I was the
There's no fucking way that he believed what he just said. There's no fucking way.
I could code talk to white guys watching football, fixing their truck, doing that I could put them at ease. I was the permission structure to say, look, you can do this and vote for this. And you look across those swing states, with the exception of Minnesota, we didn't get enough of those votes.
But you could be giving them permission on TV.
Are you saying that because you were brought in to code talk to white dudes, that if you look at the swing states, you lost all the fucking swing states? Holy shit.
Every day you could have been messaging that way, and that isn't necessarily how it shook out.
Well, yes, but I also said I understand myself. I said I think I'll give you pretty good stuff, but I'll also give you 10% problematic. And so somebody's got to make the decision here to handle some of this stuff and to make it. And those are just decisions that were made. And I think after the fact, it is not second guessing or anything. I think it's fair to go back on and look at this. Look, we had the most qualified person who'd run for president in this country's history at the top of the ticket.
Holy fuck, man. What? Jesus, man. So Kamala Harris was the most qualified person at the top of the ticket. Yet Donald Trump, the guy who's already been in office once, wasn't qualified. Okay. My goodness, man. What are we doing here? These people are so fucking brain dead. And if the media had it their way, these are the types of people that would be running our country right now, or at least pretending to run our country, because we know that they wouldn't actually be running our country, because Joe Biden wasn't running our country. He was, oh no. What? Bella Ramsey, who is the star of the Last of Us television show. I'm sure a lot of you have seen the memes. I'm sure you've seen the memes on The Last of Us, but she plays Ellie. So I just saw this meme hit my feed right here. Fans wanted Bella as Buzz Lightyear in the upcoming live action. Not bad casting, I gotta say. That's pretty good casting. So I just saw this in my feed and I'm like, what the hell is going on? Why is this showing up? But it is really good. So woo! That's great right there. Good Lord, man. And again, this is where memes are the most crucial element of the internet. You have to have memes. You have to. Let me see here. Did Stone Cold? Let's see. Yes. So I played the clip earlier from Stone Cold Steve Austin. And one thing, I've been covering professional wrestling over on the main Geeks and Gamers channel recently. And then we've also been covering it on our locals page. But Stone Cold Steve Austin was asked about kayfabe, which has been one of my biggest problems in wrestling. And he said this.
Wrestling fans, they're old school in a sense. They're nostalgic. And so when things like, there's this documentary that's coming out, a series on Netflix where they're going to show behind the scenes, like the writing process, the creative process called WWE Unreal, or even little things like ads all over the ring, they get very fired up. To the non-fan, you'd be like, who cares? When you see this stuff, how do you feel about it? Are you old school like that? Should there not be ads on the ring? Should there not be cameras in the writing room?
Man, that's where I'm still I'm a little old school on that. And, it's just like, I'm a big Magic fan, but, if Harry Houdini's still around, I don't want him to tell me how he does it. I want to figure out how he does it. And if I can't, then I'm going to keep wondering, and I'm going to keep watching, but I'm going to keep wondering. So don't tell me how he's doing it, but see if I can figure it out myself. Because I want to think that, I know it's not magic, it's an illusion, but let me keep wondering about
100%. That is the exact mentality that WWE has lost completely. I know wrestling's not real. I know that it's predetermined. I know it's scripted. I've done professional wrestling shows before. I've hosted them. I've promoted them. But I don't need you to tell me every detail of how the process goes. Give me the illusion. Let me buy into the story. That's what made it so great back in the day, because I had to ask myself, like, man, is this real? Like, is this particular storyline? Like, these guys seem mad at each other. Is this real? Undertaker's a classic example of that. Undertaker lived the gimmick, lived it. He tried his best to protect that gimmick until he retired. But, what do I know, right? So Stone Cold knows a little bit more than me, though. So we'll give him credit for that. He is the greatest of all time. Stone Cold Steve Austin is the greatest of all time, no doubt. All right, so we've got 10 minutes left. We do have Mario Kart tonight, so don't forget. We have Mario Kart tonight over on the Geeks and Gamers Play channel. I might host my perspective as well. I'll have to let you guys know about that. I might host my perspective over on Locals, or maybe I'll just do it on D-Day Cobra Gaming. I haven't done anything on that channel in God knows how long. Too many people have been yelling at me about that. So I might do something from that perspective. We'll see. There was one more clip that I wanted to show. Now, again, you guys didn't see it earlier, but I just wanted to say that, like, Elon Musk was wearing a Gulf of America hat. I need this hat right now. I need a Gulf of America hat. That has got to be that is such a cool ass design. And it also will trigger so many leftists out there. That is a badass hat right there. And Elon's rocking two different hats right here.
Thank you very much. Elon, I love the double hat, but he's the only one that can do that. Get away with it.
Well, Mr. President, they say I wear a lot of hats. Even my hat has a hat.
Look at this guy, dude. This is amazing. This is oh man. Let's see here. Where are we at? Grant Potato says, I'm afraid of no news story, but that thing, it scares me. James O'Keefe. Polite Rue Guy says, Trump 2028, Donald Trump will defeat AOC and any Dem in 28. I know some people are against it, and I respect where you're coming from, but I think Trump's going to run in 2028. I just do. I absolutely think Trump runs in 2028. I think he's going to figure something out. Darth Gavel, AOC dreams of having a threesome with Elon and Trump. Lying Dogface Pony Soldier says, don't tread on me is a meme from 1775. Fantastic Mr. Knox says, Tim Walz, I'm kind of a knucklehead. Also, Tim Walz, I was brought in because I know how to talk to white guys. Yeah, that was cringe. Lying Dogface Pony Soldier says, NPCs hate memes. Grant Potato says, wait, aren't they aren't real? What's next? You're going to say you're not a fig and your family is actually real. SBZ says, the people demand Jeremy Cash as a guest on the main event. Good old Jeremy Cash. So he will run for beat. Now, I figure Trump's going to figure something out. We'll see. At the end of the day, it doesn't really matter what really happens. It's what I believe. And I believe until I'm told otherwise that I believe Trump will be running in 2028. And we'll see what happens. And as long as the liberals believe that he's going to run in 2028, that's what we need. We need them to be scared and triggered and all of that. So time will tell. And of course, the Democrats, like I said, you've got Gavin Newsom, you've got AOC, you've got Crazy Bernie. And I do believe Stephen A. Smith is going to be a player as well on the Democratic side. Outside of that, I don't think they have anyone that's worthy. I mean, Jasmine Crockett. Does anybody really think Jasmine Crockett can pull this off? Obviously, J.D. Vance, if he is at the top of the ticket in 2028, I think that's going to be a very good choice. There's probably going to be a few names that will pop up for sure. But yeah, I mean, just yesterday by watching that Trump rally, you could tell how much he misses it. And you could tell even at 82, you could tell Trump really wants to be out there doing more rallies. Like Trump he will continue to do rallies. He will continue to do rallies. And you could tell he wants to, I think he enjoys running for president. I think he enjoys the build up to it. I think he enjoys the campaign. I think he enjoys the interviews. I think he enjoys the back and forth with the media. I think he thrives off of that. I also think that I think Trump in his later years, if you know anything about like sports, like a lot of all-time great coaches, when they retire at a very old age, a lot of times they don't have long, they kind of pass away a few years later because that element of coaching is what was keeping them going and keeping them motivated every single day. I think that with Trump, he thrives in the world he's in right now. And he probably will always thrive in terms of like, because he's so famous that he always has something going on. But I think that that Trump absolutely thrives at being the enemy of the media and fighting for America. I think he thrives, and I think it keeps him motivated and energetic, and it keeps a kind of a young vibe to what he does, because he really has no business at his age moving and acting and talking like he does at this point. So it's kind of crazy. So we'll see what happens. We'll see what happens. So that's true for most men with long careers. Yeah, I get it. 100%. All right, so we're going to call it there. Geeks and Gamers play tonight on for Mario Kart. We're going to be doing that, and then I may stream my perspective. I don't know yet. I've got to do some work on OBS because my capture for the cameras, for some reason, it's not as clear as it needs to be. I need to get with Beardo and see if we can work on that, and see if I can get that figured out. So, but anyway, thank you guys so much. I really do appreciate it. I'll see you tonight for Mario Kart, and then I'll be live again tomorrow for CobraCast, and then I'll try to hammer out one for Friday as well to make up for some of the missed episodes that I've had. So hopefully I'll see all of you tomorrow. Hopefully I'll see you tonight. You guys have a good evening, and we'll talk to all of you later. I will give you the outro really quick because I didn't give you one yesterday because I had to go to the other stream. But here's the outro. Bye, everyone. And we had a couple of super chats that I missed. SBZ says, have you seen the Trump 2028 merch on official Trump store? I have. And I'm glad that he's continuing to put that out there. Chat Taker says, chat, every time Jeremy says he can't stream because he's got family stuff going on, look at me. We are family now. All right, guys, have a good night. We'll talk to all of you later. See you on Mario Kart. Bye, everyone.